Hi, everyone. Welcome to the wonderful world of story mapping. This is a great built-in app for the Esri collection of programs that allows you to take the maps that you've created in your map maker and create a presentation that easily embeds those maps and makes it interactive with the people viewing it. So what we want to do is we want to click on the little waffle up here and you will find story maps somewhere in here, maybe way down here. I just simply clicked and dragged up story maps so that it'd be higher on the menu here, along with survey 123, to make it easier to find in the future. So once you find story maps, you want to click on it and it's going to open up a new tab. Yours probably has nothing in here because you haven't started anything, so it might look a little bit different than mine. And what we want to do is to create a new story. So up here, you'll see new story, or it might be down in the center if it's the first time for you to create a story. So when we click on new story, typically we want to go from scratch. And I'm going to give this a title, story. Oops, I got the cat pocket. All right, so down here is where all the magic is. So when I click on plus, it's going to give me a variety of different options. I can put in text, a button, separator, all these different things. So for instance, I could just simply start off with text. I want it to be a heading, so and then if I hit enter, I can just start typing my description, or I could have hit the plus key. Um, I could enter a simple map in here. So for instance, I could go to map and I could create what's called an express map. So if I click on express map, it's a very simple map that you're going to be working with. And I could, for instance, outline in here. You know, there's my oil sands. So tar sands region. And I could have a nice little arrow that points to it. So I just click, double click, and I can add a little bit of text to that. So I can just click here, put my text, general. And I can choose different ways that it could be portrayed. Um, so when I click done, it's going to insert that map into my story map. Now, typically what you're going to be doing is adding a map that you've already created in the map viewer program. So what we want to do is go down here. We're going to click on plus. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to this thing called Sidecar. And Sidecar is fabulous in that it really creates these very professional looking descriptive maps. So when I hit Sidecar, I've got a choice of either dock, floating, oh, and a new one called the slideshow. So it doesn't matter which one you pick. I'm just going to click this one. And the first thing I should do is decide what I'm going to put on the main stage, this big area over here. I call this a side stage. This is the main stage. And I'm going to start off with a map. Now, instead of using an express map, I'm going to go looking around for one of my maps that I have on the oil sands. So here we are. And you'll see that over on the side here, I have a variety of different layers that are found in this map. And perhaps what I just want to start off with is where the oil sands are located and the provinces and territories that they're found in. So if I zoom in, you can see there's all the oil wells for the oil sands. Sometimes, like this feature, if I pan out too much, it's not visible. So sometimes you need to just sort of check and zoom in a bit to see if it's visible. So there we are. We can see the oil wells, and we can see they're clearly in the province of Alberta. So I'll click Place Map. And I'll start off with a title here, location of the cars. And I put in some description about, this is where they're found. I could even, over on the side here, include an image if I wanted to sort of spruce things up. So I'm just going to go find any old image. It's not going to be really related. Oh, there's my old motorcycle. We'll throw it in there. And so now I've got a nice little picture on the side. Ideal. So I've created my first car in my sidecar. I can go back and I can change it a little bit. So for instance, if I don't like the size of the text here, I can simply change it from paragraph to, let's say, subheading. It gives a little bit more punch. And I can then decide to add another sidecar. So if I click on the little plus sign here, I can now add another sidecar whereby, let's say, I'll add my map again. And where's oil sands? This time I wanted to highlight the physiographic region that it's found in. So we can clearly see that the oil sands are found in the interior plains. I think you get the idea of how you can add a variety of different maps. Now let's see what this looks like in preview mode. So right now we're as an editor, so we can change things. But if I click on preview, you're going to see what this looks like from a sort of the professional, viewer. And so I can scroll through. You can see there's my first map. And then as I scroll down into the sidecar, you'll see that the banner on the side starts to scroll up. And once I've gone through all the text, it'll shift it to the next map, and up comes the next set of information. All right, so that looks pretty cool. I'm going to get rid of the preview mode. You'll see down here, I can just click on this and close the preview. And I notice that it's really bland. I don't like this white background. So I'm going to change the design here so that, for instance, I'm going to click on this. So I've got a nice picture on my title slide, and I'm going to choose a different color. I'm going to go for blue or maybe black. There we go. So that sort of spruces things up. I'm going to add a little image to my cover page once again to make it a little bit more exciting. So there we go, a big fire. It's got nothing. Well, it's actually from Alberta. That's the Fort McMurray fire. So interesting enough. So now when I slide down and look at things, it looks like it sort of pops off the map a little bit better. So let's create one more slide. Now this time when I create the slide, I'm not going to include a map. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to include an image. Now what you're going to find is that images can be a little bit fussy for adding to your story map. So there's the grotto on the Bruce Peninsula. Now this one has worked just fine, but sometimes what you may need to do is click on this options, and you can change the center so that, for instance, this is the center of the photograph or this is the center of the photograph. So it's looking exactly at the feature that you're interested in. If I don't like the order of my slides, I can always click and drag that slide into a new position, or I can always click on the three little dots and I can delete it or duplicate it. Be careful not to click on this delete, because this gets rid of the entire sidecar. Okay, so if you just want a single slide to be deleted, you're going to want to simply click on the three little dots at the bottom. Now, there's some other really interesting features that you can do when you're in here. If you click on the plus and then add a map action, what you can do is you can say, let's say, we want this to go to Canadian Shield. And once I type that in there, I want to click on the little pen, and it's going to take me back to the map. And when I click on that, it's going to change the view of the map. So for instance, now the Canadian Shield is centered. So I'm going to save this action. And now if I just go back to preview mode, then I scroll down and I get to that slide, you'll see the Canadian Shield. And if I click on it, voila, it changes the map. So this is really good if, for instance, you're doing a travel and tourism project and you want to show where a particular city is, maybe Tokyo, and you got Tokyo and you can see most of Japan. But then it's like, oh, would you like to see Mount Fuji? And you click on the little thing for Mount Fuji, and it'll zoom right in to that place. So let's get out of preview mode. And I was mentioning about the images. I just want to have an image that doesn't come up so well here. So I'm going to create a new sidecar, and hopefully I get an image that doesn't work well. Let's see here. I'm going to try one of my pictures here of Iceland. Okay, so you'll notice on this one, it's really zoomed in. It's not really showing me much. So what I can do is I can click on options, and this time click on fit, do not crop. And what it's going to do is show me the entire photograph instead of just a portion of it. It's going to make it smaller, but at least it's going to fit in the program. So I can keep on scrolling down and I can continue my story down here. I could have another section on description. And for instance, maybe I want a video. So let's go to YouTube and we're going to find great video. I don't know, maybe this one's great. And what I'm going to do is I just want to copy the link to it. And when I click on plus here, I can include, instead of an image, I can include video. And typically you're just going to simply click on link. If you've actually made the video, you can always upload the video link or the actual file. But typically it's going to be sitting on YouTube or someplace like that. And when you click on add, voila, I've got the video embedded right into my presentation. Now I could also put it in here. So for instance, if I wanted, I could put that same video as just a part of my sidecar here. So that's much smaller, but anyway, it's in there. So there's lots and lots for you to play around with. The key thing about the story map is it's always going to save for you, so you don't have to click a save button. Don't go looking for the save button, but it is tricky to publish and share with the teacher. So I'm going to walk you through that portion now. So once you're happy with everything, you click on publish and you want to change it to my organization. It's a bit of a problem. I don't know why groups doesn't seem to work for students. If it does work, that's great. But typically, I find that it doesn't allow students to share to a group. If you can't share to a group, then they got to share to the organization, which means technically anybody in the entire school board could find the project and copy it. So anyway, when we click publish, you'll notice up here it says edit, and it takes a few moments for it to completely publish and the word edit to disappear. Once the word edit disappears, this is the true link that you want to use. So they would copy this and put it into the Dropbox or email it to, or whatever submission method you've decided. And at that point, it's all good to go. If they decide to make any modifications after that point, they will have to republish it again. I'll have to go in here, click on edit, edit the story, and then republish it, because um, any sort of edits that you make will not automatically come up on the publish side of things. It only All those edits will not be viewable until you click on publish. So enjoy, have fun, and give me a shout if you have any challenges.